The massive alien warship floated in the cold darkness of space. It was bigger than any human city, shaped like a sharp black blade and covered in heavy weapons. Lights glowed red along its sides, like angry eyes watching everything. Inside the ship, in the largest hall, thousands of alien soldiers stood in perfect straight lines. Their bodies were tall and strong, covered in hard black scales. They held long spears that could cut through metal. Not one of them moved or made a sound. They waited for their leader. Heavy footsteps echoed through the hall. Emperor Vrax was coming. He was a monster. 10 feet tall, with thick black armor plates growing right out of his skin. His arms ended in long, sharp claws that could tear a ship apart. His eyes burned bright red like fire in the night. Sharp teeth filled his wide mouth. When he walked, the floor shook a little. Every alien soldier lowered his head as the Emperor passed. They feared him. They loved him. He had led them to win against hundreds of worlds. No one could stop the Vrax Empire. In the center of the hall, on a cold metal floor, knelt a single human. Her name was Captain Elena Reed. She was the last survivor from Earth's great defense fleet. Her uniform was torn and dirty. Blood stains covered her arms and legs from the battle. Heavy chains held her hands behind her back and locked her legs to the floor. 2 giant alien guards stood on each side of her, holding spears pointed at her heart. Emperor Vrax walked slowly toward her. His claws clicked on the metal floor. He stopped right in front of her and looked down. Captain Elena kept her head down at first. Her brown hair fell over her face. She looked small and weak next to the huge emperor. The emperor opened his mouth and spoke. His voice was deep and loud, like thunder inside the hall. The walls shook from the sound. "Kneel before me, weak human," he said slowly. "Your small world is gone. Your fleet is dust. Your kind is finished forever. Bow your head to me now, and I may let you live, as my slave." A loud laugh came from the thousands of alien soldiers. The sound filled the hall like a storm. They laughed because they always won. They had burned planets. They had killed billions. Humans were soft and slow. Humans were nothing. One alien soldier shouted, "She will cry soon, my emperor." Another called, "Break her quickly." Emperor Vrax smiled, showing all his sharp teeth. "You liked fear. You liked begging." He waited for the human to shake and cry. But Captain Elena did not shake. Slowly, very slowly, she lifted her head. A deep cut ran across her cheek. Fresh blood dripped down her face and fell on the floor. Her lip was swollen. One eye was almost closed from a bruise. But her eyes were clear and bright. No tears. No fear. She looked straight up at the Emperor's burning red eyes. The alien soldiers stopped laughing little by little. The hall became quieter. Emperor Vrax waited. He wanted her to speak. He wanted her to beg for life. Seconds passed. Only the low hum of the ship could be heard. Then, something happened that no one expected. A small smile appeared on Captain Elena's lips. Not a big smile. Not a laugh. Just a quiet, calm, small smile. Like she knew a secret. The Emperor's red eyes narrowed. His claws opened and closed once. Why was she smiling? The nearest alien soldiers looked at each other. They did not understand. Captain Elena kept smiling. The blood kept dripping from her cheek. The chains held her tight. She was alone against an entire empire. But that smile stayed. Emperor Vrax felt something new in his chest. Not fear, not yet. But something close. Something he had never felt before. The great hall became completely silent. Thousands of powerful warriors waited. The human prisoner looked at their mighty emperor, and smiled. What did this weak, broken human know that the greatest conqueror in the galaxy did not? The smile grew just a little bigger. And in that quiet moment, deep inside the most powerful warship in the universe, something dangerous had already begun. Emperor Vrax stared down at Captain Elena Reed. That small smile on her face made his blood hot. No prisoner had ever looked at him like that. No one had ever dared to smile when he demanded they kneel. His red eyes burned brighter. His claws opened and closed with a sharp click. The thousands of alien soldiers in the hall felt the change in the air. They stopped moving. They waited. The Emperor leaned closer. His hot breath smelled like metal and fire. He spoke in a low growl that made the chains on Elena's wrists rattle. "Wipe that smile off your face, human," he said. "You think this is funny? Your planet is gone. Your ships are broken. You are nothing now. You should be crying. You should be begging." He raised one huge claw. It hovered just above her face, ready to strike. The claw was longer than her arm and sharp enough to cut through steel. The alien soldiers started to laugh again, but the sound was nervous this time. They had never seen their emperor this angry so quickly. Captain Elena did not move. She did not flinch. The blood from the cut on her cheek still dripped slowly down her neck. Her eyes stayed calm. That small smile stayed on her lips. She spoke for the first time. Her voice was quiet but clear. Every word could be heard in the silent hall. "You think you have won," she said. "You think humans are weak. You think we are finished." She paused. The emperor's claw stayed in the air. "But you made one big mistake," Elena continued. "One very big mistake." The emperor laughed. It was a loud, ugly sound that echoed off the walls. "What mistake?" he roared. "Tell me, little insect. What can a broken human do against the Vrax Empire?" Elena's smile grew just a little bigger. She looked straight into his red eyes. "You came too close," she said. For a second nothing happened. The emperor tilted his head. His soldiers looked confused. Then suddenly red warning lights flashed all over the ship. Sharp alarms screamed from every speaker. The floor shook with a deep boom from somewhere deep inside the warship. The emperor turned his head fast. His red eyes opened wide. "What is this?" he shouted. One of his officers ran forward. The officer's scales were shaking. "My emperor," he cried. "We have a security breach. Something is wrong in the engine room." The alarms got louder. More lights flashed red and yellow. A voice from the ship's computer spoke in the alien language. "Warning. Unauthorized access detected. Warning. Critical systems compromised." The soldiers in the hall started to move. Some grabbed their weapons. Some looked around in fear. Emperor Vrax turned back to Elena. His claw dropped closer to her face. "What did you do?" he growled. Elena's voice stayed calm. "I told you. You came too close." Another explosion came from far inside the ship. The lights in the hall flickered for a moment. Smoke started to come from the vents. The emperor grabbed Elena by the front of her torn uniform and lifted her off the floor. The chains broke with a loud snap. Her feet dangled in the air. "You will tell me now," he shouted. "What is happening to my ship?" Elena looked down at him. Even hanging in his grip, she did not look afraid. That small smile was still there. "The timer started when you brought me here," she said slowly. "You wanted to show me off. You wanted to make me kneel in front of your army. That was your mistake." The emperor's grip tightened. His claws dug into her uniform. "What timer?" he demanded. Elena looked at the flashing red lights. Then she looked back at him. "The timer for your end," she said. The alarm screamed louder. Another boom shook the whole ship. Some alien soldiers started to run toward the doors. Emperor Vrax's face twisted in anger and confusion. He had conquered hundreds of worlds. He had never lost. Never. But now this one small human woman was smiling at him. And the mighty warship was starting to die around him. What had she done? How could one human do this? The emperor dropped Elena back to the floor. She landed on her feet, steady and calm. He turned to his officers. "Find it. Stop whatever this is. Now." But deep inside he already knew something terrible. The human smile was not from fear. It was from victory. And the clock was ticking. The great hall was no longer quiet. Red lights flashed everywhere. Alarms screamed without stopping. Smoke poured from the walls. Alien soldiers ran in every direction, shouting orders and pushing each other. Emperor Vrax stood in the center, still holding Captain Elena by her uniform. His claws dug deep into the fabric. His red eyes were full of rage and confusion. "Tell me everything," he roared. "What have you done to my ship?" Captain Elena looked at him calmly. Even with the chaos around them, her voice stayed quiet and steady. "I will tell you," she said. "You wanted to know the mistake you made. Now you will hear it." She took a slow breath. "While your fleet was busy destroying our ships, you did not notice one small thing. A tiny human stealth ship slipped past your sensors. It landed quietly on the outside of this warship hours ago. No one saw it. Your guards were too busy celebrating victory." The emperor's grip loosened a little. He listened, but his face grew darker. "On that stealth ship," Elena continued, "were 20 of our best special soldiers. They wore black suits that hide them from your scanners. They carried one weapon, a virus bomb. It was made only for your kind of biology. It kills aliens fast, very fast, but it does nothing to humans." An officer ran up to the emperor. His scales were pale with fear. "My emperor, we found signs of intruders in the lower levels. They broke into the engine room." Vrax waved the officer away with one claw. He stared at Elena. "Go on," he growled. Elena's small smile returned. The soldiers placed the bomb deep inside your engines. It is small but very strong. Once it opens, green gas will spread through every part of this ship in minutes. Every alien who breathes it will die in pain. She paused and looked around the hall. Soldiers were coughing as thin green smoke started to come from the floor vents. The timer on the bomb started the moment your guards brought me into this hall, she said. You wanted to show your army how weak humans are. You wanted me to kneel in front of everyone. That took time. Time for our soldiers to finish their work and escape. The Emperor looked at the vents. The green smoke was growing thicker. How much time is left? He asked. His voice was lower now. Elena looked straight into his eyes. 5 minutes, she said. Maybe less. A loud scream came from the back of the hall. One alien soldier fell to the floor. His skin started to turn black. He clawed at his throat. More soldiers saw it and began to panic. Some ran for the doors. Some fired their weapons at the vents, trying to stop the gas. But the gas kept coming. Emperor Vrax dropped Elena to the floor. She landed softly and stood up straight. The broken chains lay at her feet. You lie, he shouted. Your soldiers could not escape. My ship is sealed. Elena shook her head. They're already gone. Their stealth ship left the same way it came. Quiet. Invisible. Right now it is safe in space watching us. Another explosion rocked the ship. The lights flickered again. Part of the ceiling fell with a crash. The Emperor turned to his officers. Send every guard to the engine room. Stop the bomb. Open all escape pods. Get me to my private ship now. The officers ran to obey. But deep inside they knew it was too late. Captain Elena stood still in the middle of the chaos. Green smoke swirled around her legs, but it did not hurt her. She watched the mighty Emperor give orders that would not work. The most powerful conqueror in the galaxy had made one simple mistake. He had brought the enemy inside his home. And now the countdown was almost over. How many minutes were left? Would any alien escape? Or was this the end of the great Vrax Empire? The green gas rose higher. The great warship shook again and again. Booms came from deep inside like angry thunder. Green smoke poured out of every vent now. It filled the huge hall and made it hard to see far. Alien soldiers ran everywhere. Some pushed others out of the way. Some fell to the floor holding their throats. Their black scales started to turn dark green, then black. They screamed in terrible pain. Captain Elena Reed stood calm in the middle of it all. The green smoke swirled around her, but it did not hurt her at all. She watched the chaos with the same small smile. Emperor Vrax stood near her. His red eyes were wide. His claws opened and closed fast. He shouted orders at his officers. Open the escape pods. All of them. Get my private ship ready now. Send every fighter outside to find that human stealth ship. Officers ran to obey, but most of the control panels were already broken. Sparks flew from the walls. Lights went on and off. One big officer came running back. His face was full of fear. My Emperor. The engine room is lost. Our guards are dead. The bomb cannot be stopped. Another officer shouted from far away, the escape pods on the lower levels are jammed. The doors will not open. Screams filled the air. Hundreds of soldiers tried to reach the upper escape bays. They pushed and fought each other. Some used their claws to climb over the crowd. Emperor Vrax looked around. His mighty army, the army that had destroyed hundreds of worlds, was falling apart in minutes. He turned back to Elena. Anger and fear mixed in his voice. This is your doing? He roared. He reached out fast and grabbed her neck with one huge claw. He lifted her high off the floor. Her feet kicked in the air. You will die with us, he shouted. If my empire ends today, you end too. Elena could not breathe well, but her eyes stayed calm. Even with his claw tight on her throat, that small smile did not leave her face. She tried to speak. Her voice was weak, but the Emperor heard it. No, she said. I will watch. The Emperor's claw shook with anger. He wanted to crush her right there. But a new, louder explosion rocked the whole ship. The floor tilted hard. Everyone fell, including the Emperor. He let go of Elena to catch himself. She dropped to the floor, coughed once, then stood up again. All around, alien soldiers were dying fast now. The green gas was thick. Bodies lay everywhere. The once perfect lines of warriors were gone. Emperor Vrax got to his feet. He looked at the main doors of the hall. His private escape ship was parked just outside in a special bay. I am not dying here, he growled. He started to run toward the doors. His huge body pushed soldiers out of the way. Some tried to follow him, begging for help. Let me come, my Emperor, one cried. But Vrax did not stop. He reached the doors and hit the open button hard. The doors did not move. He hit it again and again. Nothing. A voice came from the ship's dying computer. Private bay sealed. Critical damage detected. The Emperor roared in anger. He used his claws to tear at the metal doors, but they were too thick. Behind him, Captain Elena walked slowly closer. Her steps were quiet in the noise. The Emperor turned. His chest moved fast. For the first time, real fear showed in his red eyes. "How long?" he asked. His voice was lower now. Elena looked at a nearby control screen. Numbers flashed red. 2 minutes, she said. The Emperor looked around. His great hall was full of smoke and dead bodies. His soldiers were gone. His ship was dying. And the small human woman stood in front of him, free, calm, smiling. He fell to one knee, not from respect but because the gas was starting to reach him. His scales felt hot. The mighty conqueror who wanted the universe to kneel was starting to feel weak. The green smoke rose higher. What would happen when the last minutes ended? Would the Emperor find a way out? Or was this truly the end? The clock kept ticking down. A final, massive explosion came from the heart of the warship. The floor shook so hard that even Captain Elena had to hold the wall to stay standing. Lights went out for a few seconds. When they came back, they were dim and red. Then the virus bomb fully opened. Thick green gas burst out of every vent like a storm. It filled the great hall in seconds. The air became heavy and poisonous for the aliens. Screams filled the ship. Thousands of alien soldiers fell at the same time. Their strong black scales turned dark green, then black. Their red eyes lost their fire. They clawed at their throats and chests. Some tried to run, but their legs gave out. They crashed to the floor and did not get up again. Bodies lay everywhere. The once mighty army of the Vrax Empire was dying in minutes. Captain Elena stood in the middle of the green cloud. The gas moved around her like smoke around a rock, but it did not touch her lungs. It did not burn her skin. She was safe. Humans had made the virus that way on purpose. She watched without fear. Her small smile stayed on her face. Emperor Vrax was on his knees now. The gas had reached him fully. His huge body shook. His sharp claws scratched the metal floor, leaving deep marks. He tried to stand, but his legs were too weak. Black spots spread across his armor plates. His red eyes started to fade. He looked up at Elena. His voice was no longer loud and terrible. It was low and broken. "No," he said. "This cannot happen to me." He reached one claw toward her, but it fell halfway. All around, the last alien soldiers dropped. One big guard near the door fell with a loud crash. His spear rolled across the floor and stopped at Elena's feet. The great hall, which had been full of proud warriors just minutes ago, was now silent except for the low hum of the dying ship and the hiss of gas. Emperor Vrax coughed hard. Black liquid came from his mouth. "I conquered hundreds of worlds," he whispered. "I am the strongest." Elena walked slowly toward him. Her steps were quiet on the metal floor. She stopped right in front of him. The Emperor looked up. He was on both knees now. His head hung low. The mighty beast who had made planets kneel was kneeling in front of a single human. Elena looked down at him. "You were strong," she said quietly. "But you forgot one thing. Humans do not give up. When you push us to the edge, we fight smarter. We fight dirtier. We fight to win." The Emperor tried to speak again, but only a weak growl came out. His body started to fall forward. Elena stepped back so he would not touch her. Emperor Vrax crashed face down on the floor. His claws scratched one last time. Then he stopped moving. The red light in his eyes went out forever. Captain Elena stood over the dead body of the greatest alien conqueror in the galaxy. Green gas swirled around her. The ship's alarms had gone quiet. Everything was still. She looked around at the thousands of dead aliens. Not one was left alive. The virus had done its job perfectly. But the story was not finished yet. Elena turned and walked toward the main control room door. It was open now. The power locks had failed with the ship's damage. She stepped over bodies and broken weapons. Behind her, the Emperor's body lay still on the cold floor, the same floor where he had wanted her to kneel. Now he knelt forever. And Captain Elena Reed, the last survivor of Earth's fleet, was the only living person on the biggest warship in the universe. What would she do next? Would she escape? Or did humans have an even bigger plan? The green gas slowly started to clear as the ship's air systems died. Silence ruled the hall. But far away in space, something was watching. Emperor Vrax looked up at Captain Elena with fear in his eyes. How can weak humans do this?" Elena stood over him, free from her chains. She had unlocked them earlier with a hidden tool. "We are not weak," she said. "We fight smarter when we have no choice. You wanted us to kneel. Now you kneel." The mighty Emperor's body started to turn black. His last breath left him. Captain Elena walked to the main control room. She sent a message to all human ships hiding far away. "The Emperor is dead. Their fleet has no leader now. Attack." From the darkness of space, hundreds of human warships appeared. They destroyed the remaining alien fleet in hours. Captain Elena stood on the bridge of the captured alien flagship. She looked at the stars. Never make a human smile when you think you've won. The screen fades to black with the words, "Humanity F***ck's yeah." End of story.